Welcome back, guys. Hopefully you've been keeping up with all of the censorship news across the world and these increasing regulations to spy on people. And in particular, with the UK specifically, we've got an update as things are proliferating in that situation, with White House warning Starmer, that being the Prime Minister of UK, stop threatening US tech companies' free speech. This follows a meeting Starmer had with President Trump, in which Starmer claimed that they're not actually censoring anyone, which of course was a nonsensical thing to say when it seems like they, in fact, are doing just that. And so for context really quick, let's watch those two clips once again. I think one's about a minute long, the other's like 20 seconds long, for anyone who may have missed it. And for anyone who's seen it already, just as a quick refresher leading into this, because it just makes it that much more amusing that now Starmer's actually getting called out after what happened and what he said in those clips. So let's take a look.
There are new powers here to censor your site, state-mandated powers.
To censor my site?
To censor your site and Twitter
Truth?
and Facebook.
Truth?
I mean Truth. Is that okay?
Well, I don't think he's going to censor my site because I say only good things. Will you please uncensor my site?
Yeah, we're not censoring anyone. We've got some measures which are there to protect children, in particular from sites like suicide sites. We've had too many cases in the United Kingdom of young children taking their own lives, and when you look through their social media, they've been accessing sites which talk about suicide and encouraging, if you like, children down that road, and that is what we want to stop. There's nothing about censoring free speech.
But that treats all adults like children.
This country is the proud.
But that can treat all adults like children.
Free speech in this country has been for a very long time. We're very, very proud of it. We will protect it forever. But at the same time, I personally feel very strongly that we should protect our young teenagers, and that's what it usually is, from things like suicide sites. I don't see that as a free speech issue. I see that as a child protection issue.
We actually passed a bill in Congress, headed up by my wife, actually, which was to pull bad stuff out having to do with children, because it is a problem. But I cannot imagine him censoring Truth Social. This is more of a very political, and it's been a very big success.
It's not going to happen.
And I only say good things about him and his country, so if they censor me, you're making a mistake. I'm going to give my ambassador the job, make sure it's not censored. I had not heard that.
Mr. President.
So yeah, that's the first clip. Here's the next one. This one's only like 12 seconds long. It's obviously gross how Starmer will try and use children as a shield for them really just trying to spy on people, get more control over people, censor the internet, etc., etc. Then we also had that Labour UK politician yesterday who said if you're against their censorship and control, that you're actually on the side of predators. So we talked about that yesterday, as mentioned. I mean, that was a crazy freaking thing to say. And isn't it convenient that they're trying to use this rhetoric of, oh, it's not a free speech issue, it's a protecting the kids issue? How disingenuous and disgusting. Now, as we move forward in the next clip, pay attention to when the journalists ask them about free speech and censorship, and just take note of how Trump looks at Starmer, and keep that all in mind when we go to the article that we're going to finally get to in just a minute after this clip regarding the regarding the White House's response to the UK. All right, here we go.
Free speech today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Freaking just stares him down.
To any place in particular, perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud of that.
Like I said when I initially covered this, I don't know, man. Starmer just sounds like he's lying through his teeth, like he doesn't even believe what he's saying. All right, with that context, that takes us to White House warns Starmer, stop threatening U.S. tech companies' free speech. Saying specifically, the White House has warned Sir Keir Starmer to stop threatening American tech companies amid mounting backlash over Britain's online safety law. You know, I will give a little more context to this really quick too. The Office of Communications in the UK recently was also quote-unquote threatening Rumble, and Rumble responded with an email that essentially said, lol, we don't care, nice try. There's a bit more to it than that, but quick TLDR for some additional context there. Now let's keep going. And if you do want more info on that, by the way, I covered that full situation yesterday, near the end of yesterday's video, so it's like 2/3 through the way if you want to watch that. Back at this. Members of Donald Trump's administration are monitoring the Online Safety Act with great interest and concern after key allies said it was censoring free speech and imposing unfair burdens on U.S. businesses. The law, which regulates online speech, allows the British government to levy massive fines on companies like Apple, Truth Social, and X if it finds that rules on hate speech have been broken. Those in the president's inner circle see the potential penalties as an unwarranted foreign intervention into American free speech. President Trump has made it clear that free speech is one of our most cherished freedoms as Americans, a senior U.S. Department official told The Telegraph. Accordingly, we have taken decisive action against foreign actors who have engaged in extraterritorial censorship affecting our companies and fellow citizens. We will continue to monitor developments in the UK with great interest and concern. Since the law came into effect last week, Ofcom, the UK's online regulator, has written to several American firms, ordering them to conform to the act in letters seen by The Telegraph. It has sparked outrage from US lawmakers and legal experts who say the overreach is a threat by the UK to silence American companies and citizens. Congressman Jim Jordan, chair of the House Judiciary GOP Committee, said the law was an attack on American companies. Ask Apple, they would view it as a $500 million attack, he told The Telegraph. There's general concern, and then there's concern on how this impacts American citizens, American companies, and infringes on our First Amendment. As long as foreign legislators, judges, and regulators continue their attempts to silence U.S. citizens, we will not stop fighting back. Mr. Jordan also raised concerns over the bill's overreach with Peter Kyle, the Science Secretary, on Wednesday. Under the law, social media giants face fines up to $24 million USD, or 10% of their annual revenue, if they fail to remove content deemed harmful from their platforms. While the measures are designed to protect young people from dangerous content, critics argue that it pressures platforms into censoring users by removing their content if it is disliked by others, even though it's perfectly legal. I personally would add, after designed to protect young people, I would say allegedly, because I don't buy it. But continuing, social media apps such as X, Reddit, and TikTok have been forced to introduce age verification checks since the bill came into effect last week. The warning to Sir Keir Starmer is the latest sign of Donald Trump's willingness to intervene in domestic British affairs amid a growing transatlantic rift over the protection of freedom of speech. During his meeting with the Prime Minister in Scotland, Mr. Trump warned Sir Keir not to censor his social media platform, Truth Social. Well, I don't think he's going to censor my site because I say only good things. That's referring to the clip that we watched before this, so you guys all know that context. Then we've got this 19-second clip from J.D. Vance. Let's take a look at this one.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values shared with the United States of America.
They end with this, talking about Elon Musk, saying, Mr. Musk, who has described himself as a free speech absolutist, said Britain's online safety laws amount to suppression of the people. Several American businesses are now poised to bring a federal lawsuit against Office of Communications. Preston Brine, managing partner of Brine & Storm, PC, who is representing some of the U.S. sites, said no foreign power should be allowed to cross our waterline. I'm instructed by multiple American websites to bring a federal lawsuit against Ofcom, he said. No matter who is the target, the U.S. free speech bar will not allow any American to be censored by a foreign government. No foreign power will be allowed to cross our waterline with unconstitutional and illegal orders. And so let's go back to this really quick with this UK bill, this law, where they say, under the law, social media giants face fines up to 24 million USD, or 10% of their annual revenue, if they fail to remove content deemed harmful from their platforms. So they get to decide what is quote unquote harmful and then threaten you with these immense penalties if you fail to remove it. And how much time do they give you to remove it? What exactly are they going after? It opens a lot of floodgates, and it's also a policy that can be easily abused. And we're seeing similar stuff occurring over on Reddit, for example, where if you have a subreddit that goes against the right opinion of the Reddit overlords, we have seen like the Reddit hive mind, if you will, go to those subreddits and make posts, intentionally make posts that break the Reddit TOS just to get those subreddits banned. They will post things that break the TOS and then report their own posts, or people in their clique or whatever you want to call it will report those posts again with the sole intention of doing this to get that subreddit banned, because these people did not have the quote-unquote right opinion. By the way, going against the right opinion in this context I'm talking about can be as simple as criticizing Ubisoft and Sweet Baby Inc. Because I saw this happen like last year. There was like a subreddit that I think had between 10,000 to 20,000 subscribers, pretty small niche subreddit, and they were criticizing Ubisoft and SBI. And then the Reddit hive mind found out about this, went over there, intentionally made posts as mentioned that break the TOS, report those posts, and ultimately they got the subreddit banned. You gotta love when some of these Reddit types LARP as if they're like some revolutionary, some activist, and it's like, okay, what are they ultimately doing? Oh, they're just bootlicking for corporations and they're defending Ubisoft. Okay, yeah, that's the state of things. Anyways, I'll leave it there, and there's actually some other updates I want to go over, but I don't know how much time I have today. I might try to get another video out today if I can. If not, I guess we'll be talking about that tomorrow. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate you. See you in the comments and in the next one.